Welcome to a new episode of Side of the Curse of the Fish of the Mermaid. Uh. Okay, I was actually carefully looking up what I had to do, or to at least get some hint. But well, the hint was too strong, so that I know what to do now. Um, but to be fair, I think I have solved everything myself, and I even attempted what the solution is multiple times, but it didn't work for whatever reason. I don't know if this was a bug or if I don't know. So yeah, the apparent solution, which as I said, I tried this out multiple times already, is wait, why don't I have any things to click on? What is wrong now? Okay. So I have to put the scale into the Tamatebako. Now the message appears here. Return to title. Then we will click on Sobai one time. Wait 3 seconds at least. One more time. Wait at least 3 seconds. 3 times. Wait 1 more seconds. 3 more seconds. And 4 times. Why is it working now? I literally tried the same thing. Well, the first time was on her bust, on her tits, and the second time was on her tail, I guess. But I tried this exact same thing multiple times. I was actually exiting and reloading the game. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I was in some kind of bug, or maybe I did indeed not wait entire 3 seconds, but. So my initial assumption was right at the beginning. But still, regardless of that, now we are one step closer, and this is still genius. This is so good. This is so cool that they have this Ryugu palace and this secret detail hidden in the main screen of the game. Goodness. And look how beautiful she is. Damn. Oh, you know that signal, do you? Oh man. That signal is extremely important to me. I won't allow just anyone to use it, least of all on some childish whim. Yeah, what if you just began to play the game, and would it be possible to do this? Or do you actually have to be, or I think you actually need the scale in the Tamatebako, otherwise this wouldn't work right. But still, would it be curious? So first, I have to be sure. Who are you? Joopsie. This is the same as in the first game. We were an entity in the game all along. But still, who are we now? Which character, which entity, which spirit are we playing as? At the beginning of the game, the storyteller told us something weird, like, I don't know the exact words anymore, but like, this is very important, you are always user, or something in that regard, right? And then we had this weird explanation about what if the head is getting cut off, what happens with the consciousness and stuff like that. So I think, and the whole thing with the Tomokazuki, so I think we are user, but just like a different user or something. Oh, I can't even look things up. User Minakuchi. Yeah. This would make the most sense. Man. Especially because user encountered Soba before, and his memories about that event are a bit hazy, and it is true because we are constantly encountering her because we are user in a certain sense. Is this right? Like, this has to be, right? Huh? User Minakuchi? Let's go. So you do know. Allow me to welcome you, User Minakuchi, or rather, User Minakuchi's severed consciousness. Yeah. 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 I am the mermaid called Sobai. You've passed through here 53 times now. I suppose it's not that strange you noticed me. This is the place you humans call Ryugu. Though I hear it's also called things like the eternal world and the world beyond. Feel free to call it what you like. It truly is. It truly is. In a fourth wall breaking sense. Oh, it's so genius. This is why they made the title screens in this way. So genius. Whatever the name, it's one of the many worlds that souls of the departed move on to afterlife. Because users, I guess his head or something was severed alongside with his consciousness, which is why he died here. Or something similar. While the other user can exist as his own individual. Well, I suppose that's not entirely accurate. The space we're in now serves more as its boundary than anything else. There's something I always thought to talk to you to. There's something I always thought to talk to you about. Something I had to talk to you about. If we ever happen to meet. What? There's something I always thought to talk to you about. Something I had to talk to you about. If we ever happen to meet. No, I never thought you would come and seek me out like this, in the form you are now. But it seems you have your own reasons for doing so. You wish to speak with me, yes? So, what shall we talk about first? Tell me about my mom. What do you mean by boundary? How to explain? This is a space that connects the two worlds you can travel between. The world the living Yusa Minakuchi inhabits, and the world that you, a severed portion of Yusa Minakuchi's consciousness, usually exist in. As a spirit, you will always pass through the space when traveling to the world of the living. Normally something like this would be unthinkable, if not impossible, but it seems you're something of an exception. Was there anything else? You were asking if Mari and I were friends. I'm only going to say this once. You might be Mari's son, but I won't stand here for you intruding upon our relationship. But I won't stand for you intruding upon our relationship. The relationship Mari and I had can't be described by so simple a word as friends. This isn't the only world that souls of the dead journey to afterlife, you know. The number's immeasurable, there are worlds beyond counting. Mari's soul has gone somewhere far, far away. Even here in Ryugu, I won't be able to see her again, so don't ask me anymore. Leave me to my memories of her. I'm sorry. Was there anything else? What happened on the day of the disaster? Yes, of course you would want to know about that. I do owe you an explanation of what happened back then. 5 years ago, on the day the calamity struck. Let's get this out of the way first. I was indeed the one who made you an 800-year mortal. But if you've come here looking for a way to regain your humanity, I'm sorry, but that's no longer possible. Even as a mermaid, there's nothing I can do. You, or rather, the Yusa Minakuchi of the mortal world, are now bound to live out the remaining 795 years of your life there, neither aging nor dying. Nothing can reverse this now. Now then, let me tell you what happened on that day 5 years ago and about the years leading up to it. Profiles updated. Sobai! What? I got the achievement that said I have unlocked every profile. They were lying to me. Sobai. I really like the look of the mermaids. It really looks very, very, very pretty, but also very outworldish, like not the same as humans. Especially the eyes, right? Yeah, it's really well done. Question mark, question mark, question mark, years old. One of 3 mermaids who were said to have lived near Taishima about 400 years ago, she has since returned to her home in Ryugu. Mare and Sobai. After becoming unable to return to Ryugu, Sobai had ceased to show herself on the surface even before members of the Somikawa line. However, upon noticing that 400 years had passed since the sinking of Taishima, she cautiously attempted contact with the current generation's inheritor of the family duty, a woman by the name of Mari Somikawa. However, upon noticing that 400 years had passed since the sink of Taishima. Yeah, this is right. In the past, any humans she encountered had either treated her as an object of worship or sought her flesh. Perhaps as a result, she immediately sensed something was different about Mari, who treated her in a friendly manner from the moment of the meeting and promised to do all she could to return her to Ryugu. There was no pretense in Mari's bearing, and her attitude when speaking to Sobai was casual and light-hearted. Gradually, Sobai began to open up to her. After some time, they agreed on a secret signal and began meeting surreptitiously, growing closer the more they learned about each other. A strange sense of trust came to blossom between them, one transcending the boundaries of their respective species. Mari had originally resolved to remain single and never start a family of her own in order to devote herself entirely to her duty with Sobai. However, Sobai strongly opposed this, saying that Mari's life here would continue even when she was gone, so Mari should not deny herself a possible future with her own family. She had seen how happy one of her former compatriots had been upon finding love, and believed Mari deserved to know such joy as well if she wished to. Yeah, Yumiko, right? Mari seemed unbothered at the thought, but said that she would consider it if someone suitable ended up coming along. However, that moment came sooner than expected. Upon moving to Kamishima, she met the love of her life, Tosuke Minakuchi. Sobai was delighted for Mari and offered her heartfelt congratulations upon hearing of the marriage. While she did not understand the joy of having a family herself, she was gratified to see Mari so happy. It was Mari's constant wish to be able to introduce her beloved family to her dearest friend, but was forbidden to reveal the existence of mermaids to anyone, even her husband and child. Eventually, the two reached a compromise. Sobai said she would meet them when the time came for her to return to Ryugu, reasoning that there would be no harm in revealing herself for such a short space of time. This agreement became a cherished promise between them. Thus did the years continue to pass, Mari's son growing all this while until the day of the Kamishima Southern Sea disaster arrived. The Southern Sea disaster. In the days leading up to the disaster, a strange rumbling could be heard coming from the sea. Sobai took this as a sign that a storm caused by the curse of the raging waves was approaching, and she and Mari mistakenly concluded that this meant that the seal on Ryugu's entrance would soon be lifted. Although the timing was earlier than expected, the two were overcome with excitement at the thought that Sobai could finally fulfill her long-held dream of returning home, and couldn't bring themselves to doubt the signs. They put together a plan. Even if the storm were to come while they were out at sea, Mari could use the bronze mirror to suppress it, allowing Sobai to pass through the entrance to Ryugu alone. Resolved that this was where they would part ways, the two spent that final night together, talking until the sun rose. On the day their plan would be put into action, Mari took Tosuke and Yusa out into the bay on a boat to introduce them to Sobai as promised. Although pained by having to part with Sobai, she was buoyed by the thought that she would now be able to devote herself fully to motherhood and to her family that had always protected her without reservation. Sobai, meanwhile, was secretly trading them from the seabed. Disliking the sound of propellers, she was unable to get close to the boat as it was moving. The raging storm. The storm that suddenly broke out around them far exceeded all expectations. Even the bronze mirror was not enough to calm it, and the sea churned and roiled around them as if the heavens themselves were unleashing their wrath. The small fishing boat carrying the Minakuchi family began to take on water, and it was not long before it started to sink. Sobai immediately rushed to their aid, reaching them just as they had fitted Yusa with a life buoy and gotten him off the boat. The couple still clung desperately to the sinking boat as it was tossed about by the waves. Upon seeing Sobai, Tosuke's reaction was surprisingly composed. Whether already resolved to meet his fate or just mellow by nature, his first response after Mari introduced her was to greet her cheerfully, thanking her for keeping Mari company and expressing surprise that Mari's faraway friend had turned out not to be human. Sobai, however, had no time for pleasantries. Consumed only by the thought of getting them to safety, she tried to carry them all from the boat, but even a single person proved to be almost too much for her. Naturally, she also lacked the strength needed to tow the boat out of danger. Even her nature as a mermaid wasn't enough to allow her to save someone precious to her when it mattered most. Filled with distress at her own powerlessness, Sobai was overcome by a sense of despair. Frantic, she tried to take only Mari with her in a bid to escape the sinking boat, but Mari rebuffed her attempt. She had no intention of being the only one saved. Instead, she and Tosuke pleaded for Sobai to help Yusa, saying that his survival meant more to them than anything else. Sobai could not understand. She refused to. She had prepared herself to bid farewell to Mari, but parting like this was too painful for her to bear. Mari, for her part, continued apologizing to Sobai despite the looming threat of her own death. Concerned for her friend's safety and feeling deep regret at being unable to see Sobai back home. It was more than Sobai could stand. At that moment, Sobai's innermost feelings came into sharp relief. Part of her deep down resented Yusa and Toski for all her being. She was happy as long as she had Mare, but Mare had a family to love as well. And yet it was Sobai herself who had wished for Mare to find happiness by starting a family of her own. Overwhelmed by unfamiliar emotions of conflict and self-loathing, she found herself unable to think clearly. Smiling as she clung to the sinking boat, half submerged in seawater, Mare thanked Sobai for her friendship and told her that the days they had spent together had been some of her happiest. Sobai was devastated. Every part of her rejected the entire situation. She didn't want to hear Mare bid farewell to her like this. She didn't want to part with Mare at all. She wanted to grab hold of her friend and carry her away to safety by force if necessary. Even returning home to Ryugu no longer mattered to her as much as this. But she couldn't ignore Mare's plea for her to save her son. Wrenching herself away from the sinking boat, Sobai headed to rescue Yusa, all the while resenting the boy for the tremendous love that Mare bore him. The 800-year mortal, when she found Yusa, he had been caught up in a whirlpool and was barely clinging to life. Sobai caught herself feeling almost satisfied at the sight, thinking that if it served him right, if it hadn't been for Yusa, she could have saved Mare. But Mare's plea for her to save Yusa, that her only wish was for him to survive, echoed in Sobai's mind. The next moment she dragged the dying Yusa out of the whirlpool and, pulling a piece of her own tail, forcibly fed it to him. Whether the emotions driving her at this point were a desire to fulfill Mare's wish or hatred towards Yusa, even Sobai herself couldn't say. After carrying Yusa out of the reach of the storm, Sobai immediately went to rescue Mare. She finally found her after 3 long days of searching, but her efforts had been vain. Mare's body was already cold. Once someone had died, it was beyond even a mermaid's power to bring them back. Sobai clung to Mare's body and wept. Never again would she hear Mare's voice calling her name. She laid Mare's body to rest on the seabed and hiding herself beside it. Spent her days mourning, lost in the depths of despair. Several years later, the entrance to Ryugu was unsealed, and Sobai, now with no remaining attachments to the mortal world, made to return home by herself. Before doing so, she met with Mare's sister, thinking to reclaim the mermaid's relic from her. However, put off by the woman's blatant avarice, she found herself unable to muster any interest in her, and ultimately returned without reclaiming the relic despite knowing full well the misfortune it could bring. Okay. Looking back now, what I did to you was wrong. It was an extreme situation, yes, but I must have been mad to even consider it. Every time I remember, I wonder what on earth I was thinking. How could I have done something so cruel to the son Mare loved so much? Even though nothing that happened was your fault. I don't expect you to forgive me, but let me at least say this. I'm sorry. I would do anything within my power to ease your burden. There's something you can do. What? You want a piece of my flesh? But why? To eat it. I suppose it's not impossible. You could bring it back to the mortal world using the relic I left there. Normally this would be forbidden, but I suppose I was the cause of all this. Maybe it counts as an attempt at making amends if nothing else. There, it's done. I'll send it to the other side. You'll be able to take it from the box there. The mermaid flesh has been transferred to the Tamatebako. The current holder of the box may claim it as their own from the evening of August 7. It seems you've done everything you came to do. Then this is where we part ways. Know that I won't respond anymore, even if you call to me with that signal. Having a means of calling me was prohibited in the first place. Live and be happy, Yusa, for Mara's sake, for all the years she never got to see. Be sure to tell him that when you return to him in the mortal world. Discover of Ryugu. Discover Ryugu. Achievement. Yo, I want to talk to you more. You had such a pretty face. Man. Oh, this is so cool how everything falls together. I was kind of concerned that, you know, they couldn't bring the same tricks as in the first game. And you as a player were kind of expecting the same tricks, but I'm still very satisfied. Like I guess they did do the same, but like in a completely new, innovative way. And yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, it's in. Nothing happened, darn. Seems like nothing's changed. Wait, shouldn't there be a Mermaid flash thing? Did I screw it up? Why is this still unfinished? Wait. By the evening of the 7th August. And this is night. Afternoon, afternoon, night, night, morning. Now this is solved. But not this one. I am confused. I'm so confused. Let's see if there's another option. Actually, okay, but still, why is this and this not solved? Oh, huh? I don't want to experience the true ending if there's still something else. What the hell? Okay, so this obviously has to do something with Arnov. Arnov. But what? I don't understand. Quinn said Kikuko has been killed. I think this is another thing I actually have to look up. I don't think I get the answer to that. This is so weird. Yeah. I will do some sniffing around, I think, without trying to spoiler myself. Just to see if I have missed something somewhere. Because I'm 100% certain that this is leading to the true end. And that's pretty much the game over, right? And this is something else entirely. This is leading to I don't know what. But I don't think this has to do anything at all with this one. So weird. What if we go to the storyteller though? Would he tell us anything different? Yeah, okay. He just, okay. Yeah. Okay, I will do a break now, and I think the next episode will be the last. See you soon.